All right, thank you for coming today, everyone. Today's in-depth training topic, we're going to be talking about explorers, sub-explorers, and how they are used within the system to help you find information quicker and how you can use that information to perform certain tasks a little bit quicker as well. So from the main screen, we have our Explorer button here. It's the fourth button, that's the magnifying glass. If we pull the Explorer down, we have access to many different explorers within the system. And most of the explorers just pertain to the different information in the system that you're looking for. The most common explorers that people will use are going to be your Explorer orders, Explorer estimates, Explorer companies, and Explorer contacts. We also have explorers for line items, purchase orders, shipments. There's other explorers that pertain to other features of the system if you utilize those features that have a lot of the same options that we'll be covering with the main explorer types. So first we're just going to go ahead and pull this option down and we'll go to Explorer companies. That brings us to the main Explorer screen. The very first option I'd like to point out, because we'll be using this option in this particular call, is the auto search button up here. What this option does is if it's unchecked, the system will wait for you to either click on the refresh button or to hit enter before it will actually do the search. Whereas if the box is checked, as you enter in information, the system will automatically refresh the list of the companies or whatever information you're looking at for you. So having that box unchecked is a good option to do if you're kind of going through and setting up multiple options before you want the system to refresh your search list. So under Explore Companies, the very first option is going to be the company name. So if you know the company name, you can just start typing that here and hit enter to refresh it. If you don't know the full company name, or maybe you only know a part of it, the system supports wildcards. So maybe I only know the word pawn. So I can do star, pawn, star, and that will pull up all the companies that have the word pawn somewhere within the company name. If I don't have any criteria in there and I refresh my list, so the refresh button is right here, that will show me all the companies in the system. I have multiple different search features that I can use. I can search on a first or last name of a contact. So maybe somebody forgets to tell me their company name, but they told me their name. So I can search on the contact name right here. And that will show me all the companies where the contact's first name is Bob. I can also search on email or salesperson as well. So I want to see all the companies where I am the salesperson. So I can pull that up and I'll see all those companies. I also have a couple of other filters at the bottom that I can utilize. So maybe I want to see all the companies that have open orders, all the companies that have open estimates. I can see all that information here. I can also search for inactive companies as well. So maybe there's a company that we made inactive, I can search for them using that option here. And then the last option for the Company Explorer is the type box. So right now I'm looking at only clients. So clients are companies that have at least created an order. Well, maybe I want to see all my prospects in addition to all my clients. So I can just click on the box and refresh my list. So doing that brings me to the next option that we need to worry about on the Company Explorer screen, and that is at the very top. Right now I'm seeing that it says viewing 20 of 29 companies. What that means is I have 29 companies that were returned, but the screen is only showing me 20 of those records. So I can select this view and type in more companies if I want to see more in the single list. So right now, instead of seeing just the 20, if I type in 29, those last 9 companies that were returned now appear in the list as well. From here, what I can do is you can right-click on any of these companies to get an extra list of new options that you can use. So the first option is you can just go ahead and open the company record, and that will just open up the company record for you to go to the normal record. I can do print. So I have the option to select multiple different print reports from this particular right-click menu. So I can print out this particular company's AR information. I can print out this company's specific payments. So I have the right-click option to print out specific information for this selected company. I can also create a brand new order for this company straight from this list. So if I right-click that company name, I can go straight to create order, create estimate, and what that will do is that will create a brand new order on the spot with that company already filled in as the company for that particular order. I also have under company options, I can do a few other things. I can just edit the UDFs. I can make the company inactive from this option here as well, and I can also add a brand new address. is the other options that I can do from the company screen. Along with that, on the right-click menu, I can also do the same report. I can do a lot of the same options over here. I can print a report for the company. I can click on Clone to create a new company. I have a couple of different options on the right menu as well. So once you've looked at all the different options for the Company Explorer, we also have an extra feature on the screen that is called the Sub Explorer. What I'm looking at now is my main Explorer, but maybe I want to look at specific information for a selected company. I want to look at extra information for a selected object. At the very bottom of the screen, there is a section that says Explorer type, no Sub-Explorer view displayed. That's just because I don't have a Sub-Explorer selected yet. But if I go ahead and pull this down, and I pull it to view none, which is just what it was before, no Sub-Explorer, view order, view estimate, I have the same list of explorers that I had at the top I have down here. So if I select view order, what I get then is now the Sub-Explorer is going to show me all the orders for the selected company. So the Sub-Explorer is going to display extra information for my selected item at the top. So as I click through my items at the top, my Sub-Explorer is going to change to reflect that extra information based off the company that I select at the top. And then I can just click on the X button there, and that will just go ahead and hide the Sub-Explorer back to the normal view. So that is all the information that we can see on the viewing company, the Company Explorer. So now we can take a look at some of the other Explorers and see what some of the extra options are there. So within an Explorer screen, instead of having to go back up to the Explorer at the top, at the bar here where it says Viewing Company, I can pull this down and just change the Explorer from within this screen right here. So I just pull that down, and I have my different Explorers, and right now I can go ahead and view orders. And it go ahead and open up with a bar down there, so I'll go ahead and hide that. And I'll refresh. So now I'm looking at my Order Explorer. A lot of the information that I see here is really related to the same fields that you see on the company level. I can search for an order by a specific order number. I can search for orders based off the company name, and I still have access to the same wildcards here. So maybe I want to look at all the companies that have company in the name. So do star, company, star, and refresh. And that brings up all the orders in the system that have a company name that has the word company in the system. I have the same contact information. I have the same salesperson. The field that differs most on the Order Explorer that doesn't exist on the Company Explorer is this option here for the search text. With this, I can actually search for an order that has a specific production note. I can search for an order that has a specific description. So I can type in a text field here and search for orders that have a specific line in either the notes or the production notes or even just a description. So if I typed in the word test here, that's going to bring up all the orders that have the word test in either the description, order notes, or the production notes. Or I could select a specific bullet point to search for those, or just those orders that have it in only the description. To go with that, we also have a set of display filters for the orders. So I can view all the orders that are in WIP, all the orders that are in built, all the orders that are in sale, or I can view historical orders that were either closed or voided within a given time range. So I can use that information to also tweak the orders that show in my list here. And I can mix and match these options as needed. So I can view all the orders for a specific company that have a closed range of this year. Or I can view all of the orders for this company that have a specific description. So you can put in as many filters at one time as you need to for this particular, whenever you're exploring these orders. So right now, we want to take a look at some of the right-click options that exist for the orders. So if I select an order, I can open the order. I can print the same. I can print the same option to print reports. So I can print the invoice from this screen. I can clone the order from this screen. I can also change the status. So I can select an order and change it to a built or sale from the screen here. I can also update the orders station from the screen as well. And then also under the order options, I have a lot more options here than I did under the Company Explorer. So under the order options here, I can go ahead and I can post a payment. I can, if I'm using the time clock option, I can clock onto a job through this screen. I can change the due date. I can edit the order notes from here. I have a lot of features that I can do from this screen, from the right-click option, that instead of having to open up the order and wait for my, wait to edit the order, I can change a lot of those fields and update a lot of the information straight from this screen right here. And I also have access to the Sub Explorer here. And this one's going to be a little bit different. So I can do, the view line items here. With that option selected, as I click through my different orders, I can see all the line items on each selected order. So that information gets reflected to me at the bottom. Now what you can do is, as you saw when we first opened up this Explorer, my Sub Explorer was open to begin with. What happens there is, once you have all the options selected over here and the Sub Explorer options, you can click on the Save button that appears right here. And what that does is that saves the layout information for the next time you come into the Explorer. So if you want to save the Explorer layout with a specific Sub-Explorer always showing, I can select that Sub-Explorer, click on this Save button, and that will save that layout for the next time I come to explore those orders. It'll already have that Sub-Explorer ready to go whenever I get up there. So go ahead and close the Sub-Explorer. And we'll go ahead and switch over to viewing estimates now. And under viewing estimates, I literally have all the same exact options that I have under the viewing order. So if I refresh my list, I have my estimates showing instead of my orders. But I can search on estimate number, company name, I can search on the description, and I can search on the different estimate statuses. Also, if I right-click here, I have a lot of the same information, but I have a couple extra features that are pertaining to estimates, because I can go ahead and void or mark an estimate lost from this screen. I can convert an estimate from this screen as well. So I can go ahead and convert this estimate to an order from this screen. And then I can also I can clock onto the estimate, I can change the due date, I can change a lot of the same information that I can change on the order, I can change for the estimate as well. And then under the Sub-Explorer, I can also do the same Explorer. I can do view line items and view the different items for the selected estimate. So let's go ahead and go back to the viewing orders, because there's a couple extra features that are kind of hidden that some people don't know about that are really useful for being able to view some extra information. So I'm going to go viewing, view order, and refresh our list. And now we're going to look at a couple of the extra options that are really useful whenever you're using the Explorer screen. You have the option up here to group. So if I click on the group option there, that adds a checkbox next to all the orders here. What I can then do is, over on the right side, there's a couple of reports that are tied to the selected group. So if I do print, there's a section for group reports. So I can do a group report order listing and preview this report. And based off the orders I had selected from that group, all those orders are now displayed here. So using that group option, you can go through and select multiple orders and do different things with those. So I can review a report. If I go back to here, I can do a run macro action, and I can also run a status change. So maybe I want to go through and change the status of all the selected orders. I want to change the station of all the selected orders. All I have to do is click on the group option, and I have control over the options over the station for those particular orders. And I have options to select all or unselect all if I want to go through and check the specific orders that I want to update. And to get out of that, I just click on the group option again, and that reverts it back to where it was before. Also up here, I have a detail button. If I click on that button, what it does is it shows me the same detail screen as if I was actually in that order as I click through the different items. So I can see the same exact detail that I would from the actual opening of the order by having that detail box checked. And to go revert back, all I have to do is just click on the detail button again, and that reverts us back to the normal view. So the last two features that we need to cover are some of the most useful features about the Explorer screen. From here, what I can do is if I right-click anywhere in the Explorer section, the very last option says Column Chooser. What the Column Chooser lets me do is it lets me choose the order of the columns that are displayed within my Explorer screen. So I can move the different fields around as I see fit. So maybe I want to see the company name first. I can select that field and move it up. Maybe there's a couple extra fields that are not showing that I want to show. I can select the total price by checking the box, and I can move that around as needed. So with the Column Chooser, I can pick and choose different options to show on my Explorer screen based off the information that I want to see. And what it does is with this Save Changes here, after you make your changes, it will save those changes for you. So I can add in different things for salesperson. I can add in dates. I can add in certain prices, balance due, payments. There's a lot of different options that you can add to the Column Chooser, and they all depend upon the Explorer. So these are just the options that I have access to under the viewing orders. If I was exploring companies, I would get a different set of options that I could then modify. And what makes that really useful then is once I have those options selected and I have my columns the way that I want, what I can do is making sure that if I go up to here, I can view all the orders that are being returned. So I want to see all 144 orders. And what can be done with almost any Explorer screen is if I right-click again in this section, the very last option is Export Grid. What that does is if I check that box and I pick HTML, I have a couple different formats to export to, the most useful one being Excel. I can then do Excel, View on Screen, and what it will do is it will take that Explorer screen with the exact order of all the columns and export it to an Excel sheet that I can then modify as I see fit because it's now an Excel file. So I could go through and sum up certain fields. I can sort it differently. I can modify the groups on here. I can do whatever it is that you want to do with the Excel file, you now have access to because that Explorer screen has been recreated in an Excel format. And you can use that for exporting certain things, summing up certain fields that you aren't normally able to sort or sum up, and essentially just be able to use this Excel file however you needed to. So if we go back to Control, the very last thing is, once you have this layout done the way that you want it to, you also have the Save Layout button up here. And that's just an extra precaution to keep the columns in the order that you want them to and to save this layout so that way it's there for you next time that you use it. And that is essentially a lot of the major features that you have within the Explorer screen and how you can use it to your advantage to be able to more quickly look up information, how you can do quick and easy tasks from just a simple right-click menu instead of having to always wait and open up an order.